She was just a mother, standing outside a grocery store, waiting for her son to return with a carton of milk. But when a police cruiser pulled up beside her, what should have been a quiet afternoon turned into a humiliating nightmare. A racist officer mocked her, harassed her, and made her feel powerless in front of a crowd, not knowing that the woman he was disrespecting was married to one of the most powerful men in America. This is the story of how one officer's arrogance destroyed his own career in a single day. Welcome to Cold Case Secrets. Please comment where you are watching us from, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification. It was a warm Saturday afternoon in Atlanta. Monica Brown, a 32-year-old nurse and mother of two, had just finished a long overnight shift at Grady Memorial Hospital. Still wearing her scrubs, she stopped by a local grocery store to pick up a few things before heading home. She parked her modest silver Honda Civic near the entrance and told her 10-year-old son, Caleb, to run inside for a carton of milk while she waited by the car. As she leaned against the car, she noticed a white police cruiser slowly circling the parking lot. The windows were tinted, but she could feel the stare. Then the car stopped. Out stepped Officer Rick Daniels, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a buzz-cut, mirrored sunglasses, and that smug smile of someone who believed the world answered him. "Afternoon," he said, swaggering over. "What are you doing here, ma'am?" Monica smiled politely. "Just waiting for my son, officer." Daniels tilted his head. "Are you sure about that?" "Got a call about someone loitering, possibly casing vehicles." Her brows furrowed. "I'm just standing by my own car." He smirked. "This is your car? Because you don't really look like someone who drives one of these." "Registration?" Monica opened her purse, a bit nervous now. "Yes, officer. It's under my name. I can show you." But Daniels didn't wait. He grabbed the door handle and yanked the car door open. Inside a lunch bag, a hospital badge, and Caleb's backpack. He picked up the badge. Nurse Monica Brown, Grady Memorial Hospital. He looked at her, then laughed. "A nurse, huh? Funny. Thought maybe you were one of those homemaids or cleaners. You people work a lot of jobs like that." People nearby were starting to stare. A man filming with his phone whispered to someone beside him, "He's harassing her for nothing." Monica tried to stay calm. "Officer, please, my son will be right out. You're scaring him if he sees this." But Daniels wasn't listening. He tossed her badge back into the car and stepped closer, invading her space. "Ma'am, I'm just doing my job. We've got a lot of suspicious activity lately. Stolen vehicles, drug drops, that kind of thing. You wouldn't happen to have anything illegal in there, would you?" Monica's lips trembled. "Of course not." "Then you won't mind if I search it," he sneered. "I do mind," she said firmly. "You have no right to." "Watch your tone," he snapped. "You people are always shouting about rights. But when it comes down to it, you don't even follow simple instructions." A few more people started recording. One elderly white woman whispered, "She didn't do anything wrong." Daniels ignored everyone. "You're making a scene," he said. "Put your hands on the hood." Monica gasped. "In front of my child? He's coming out right now." "I said hands on the hood." The officer shoved her arm roughly. Her purse fell to the ground, spilling her wallet and phone. At that exact moment, Caleb came running out of the store, milk in hand, only to freeze in horror. "Mama?" he said, voice cracking. Monica turned her head, tears in her eyes. "Baby, stay back." The crowd started shouting now. She didn't do anything. "That's a nurse, man. What are you doing?" Daniels turned, barking at them. "Everyone back off. Law enforcement business." But his arrogance only grew. He laughed as Monica trembled, hands flat on the hot metal hood. "You people think you can do whatever you want, huh?" he muttered. "Not on my watch." He took out his radio. Possible suspect resisting, requesting backup. Within minutes, 2 more police cars arrived. 3 officers stepped out, glancing around awkwardly as they saw Monica's frightened face and the cameras rolling. One whispered to Daniels, "Rick, what's the problem here?" Daniels smirked. "Possible stolen car. No registration proof." Monica spoke up shakily. "It's in the glove compartment. You never let me get it." The officer nearest her opened the glove box, found the documents, and paused. It's registered to Monica Brown. Looks clean. Daniels frowned. Yeah, well, maybe she borrowed it. We'll sort it out downtown. He grabbed her arm again. Officer, please, she begged. Quiet, he barked. You're resisting arrest. The other officers exchanged uneasy looks. But before anyone could intervene, a black SUV, tinted, sleek, expensive, turned sharply into the lot. The vehicle stopped, and out stepped a man in a tailored suit, flanked by 2 security guards. He was calm, composed, but his eyes were burning with rage. Monica, he shouted. Everyone turned. Daniels blinked. Who the hell are you? The man marched forward. Take your hands off my wife. Daniels chuckled. Oh, really? And who are you supposed to be? Her lawyer? The man smiled coldly. Try her husband. He pulled out a sleek black card from his pocket and held it up. The nearby officer's expressions changed instantly. The card bore a gold insignia, the emblem of Harper Global Holdings, one of the most powerful private investment firms in the United States. Whispers rippled through the crowd. That's David Harper, someone said. The billionaire tech investor. He's all over Forbes. Daniel squinted, confused. Billionaire? David's voice was calm and dangerously calm. Yes, and you just assaulted my wife, a registered nurse, a mother, in front of my son. Daniels laughed nervously. Okay, relax, sir. Just doing my job. She was acting suspicious. Suspicious? David repeated. Because she's black? Daniels opened his mouth, but David didn't let him speak. He turned toward the cameras now surrounding them. You humiliated her, threatened her, and traumatized our child. I'm not sure what department you represent, but you just declared war on the wrong family. The entire parking lot fell silent. David glanced at one of his guards. Record everything. Send it to the firm, to the press, and my attorney. Now. Danielle's face went pale. Sir, let's just calm down. David stepped closer. You told my wife she doesn't look like someone who owns a car like that. Well, officer, we own hundreds. We fund precincts. We sponsor city projects. And as of this moment, he took out his phone. You no longer work for this department. Daniels blinked. You can't. Oh, but I can. David said, dialing a number. Commissioner, he said into the phone. It's David Harper. I just had one of your men assault my wife in public. His name's Officer Rick Daniels. Yes, here's his badge number. The other officers stood frozen, eyes wide. David ended the call and slipped the phone back into his pocket. You'll be hearing from Internal Affairs within the hour. Pack your things. By now, news vans had started arriving. People were live streaming. The footage was already spreading across social media. Racist cop Harris's nurse gets exposed by billionaire husband. Daniel stood stiff, jaw clenched, face red with humiliation. Sir, one of his colleagues whispered, the commissioner just called. You're suspended pending investigation. Daniels turned to David. You ruined me. David's eyes were cold. No, you ruined yourself. He turned to Monica, gently placing his hand on her shoulder. Are you okay, baby? She nodded tearfully. I didn't want Caleb to see this. David knelt to his son's level. It's okay, buddy. Your mom did nothing wrong. Remember to never let anyone make you feel less because of who you are. He stood, looked directly into the nearest camera, and said, This isn't just about my wife. This is about every black woman, every mother, who's been disrespected by those who swore to protect her. This stops now. Hours later, the clip was everywhere. News stations replayed the confrontation. Hashtags like hashtag Justice for Monica and hashtag Officer Daniels were trending nationwide. The department scrambled to respond. Public pressure mounted. Sponsors threatened to pull funding. And by morning, Daniels was fired. But the story didn't end there. 3 days later, a confidential report leaked to the media, showing Daniels' history of previous complaints for racial misconduct that had mysteriously disappeared. Someone had dug too deep. Late that night, Daniels sat alone in his apartment, surrounded by unopened letters and empty beer bottles. The TV was replaying the footage again. He threw a bottle at the screen, shattering it. Then his phone buzzed. A blocked number. He answered angrily. "Who is this?" A calm, deep voice replied. "You think you got away with just a suspension? You harassed my wife. You hurt my family. You humiliated us in public. I'm not done yet." Daniels froze. "Mr. Harper, you'll soon learn," David said softly, "that real justice doesn't stop with firing. It starts with what happens after." The call ended. Outside Daniels' apartment, a black SUV sat idling and the dark headlights off. Inside, a man in a suit whispered into a radio. "Target confirmed. Phase 2 begins." 3 days had passed since the confrontation in the parking lot. The video had gone viral, 20 million views in 48 hours. News outlets replayed the clip endlessly. Officer Harris's black nurse fired after billionaire husband steps in. But while the world was celebrating justice, David Harper was quietly preparing for war. He sat alone in his home office, walls of glass, overlooking the Atlanta skyline, multiple screens glowing with data. On one monitor, the viral video. On another, a spreadsheet of police records. And on a third, a private message from a confidential source. "You were right. Officer Daniels' complaints were buried by the same captain who took money from city contractors. It goes deeper than racism." David's jaw tightened. He turned to his head of security, a quiet ex-military operative named Marcus Steele. "Pull every file on Daniels. Then go after his supervisors. I want to know who signed off on every disciplinary report he's had in the past 10 years. Marcus nodded. "You got it, sir." David's tone grew cold. "And Marcus, this isn't just about one man. We're going after the entire system that protected him." Meanwhile, Rick Daniels sat alone in his apartment, his career shattered. No calls from the precinct, no messages from his union rep. Only threats on social media and his face plastered on every headline. He turned on the TV just in time to see David Harper's face in an interview. Reporter: "Mr. Harper, what would you say to Officer Daniels right now?" David looked straight into the camera. "I'd say that what he did to my wife was personal. But what his department did to protect him, that's political. And I don't forgive either." Rick's grip tightened around his beer can. "You rich bastard," he muttered. "You think you can ruin me?" But deep down, he knew David already had. Over the next week, David's tech firm quietly launched a covert investigation called Project Mirror. Using cybersecurity teams and legal analysts, they began digging through Atlanta Police Department's digital archives. What they found was shocking. At least 14 complaints against Daniels for racial bias and unnecessary force. 5 of them were erased after internal review, and 2 supervisors receiving unexplained payments from a private security contractor tied to city contracts. David leaned back in his chair, staring at the files. "Corruption, cover-ups, money laundering, all under the same roof," he said. Marcus frowned. "This could explode the whole department." "Good," David replied. "Let it burn." 2 weeks later, the city held a public hearing on racial profiling and police misconduct. The room was packed with reporters, activists, and families of other victims. Daniels, looking exhausted, sat with his lawyer at the defense table. Across the aisle, Monica and David Harper entered calm, composed, unstoppable. The judge, an older black woman named Judge Helen Porter, adjusted her glasses. "We are here to address the civil complaint filed by Monica Brown Harper against former Officer Rick Daniels and the Atlanta Police Department." Daniels' lawyer rose. "Your Honor, my client was following standard protocol." Judge Porter interrupted. "By racially profiling and assaulting a woman in front of her child?" The courtroom murmured. Daniels shifted uncomfortably. Then David stood. "Your Honor, if I may." The judge nodded. David connected his laptop to the screen behind him. A video began to play the full, unedited body cam footage from that day. It showed Daniels grabbing Monica, mocking her, and using racist language his department claimed didn't exist. Gasps echoed through the room. David paused the video. "They said there was no body cam footage. That's because it was wiped. We recovered it from a backup. Server your department tried to hide." The judge's eyes narrowed. "Mr. Harper, how did you obtain this footage?" David smiled slightly. Through legal channels, Your Honor, and through persistence. He clicked again. A new document appeared, an internal memo signed by Captain Ronald Avery, stating that incidents involving Officer Daniels are to be handled discreetly. Judge Porter slammed her gavel. Enough. This will go to federal review. Daniels' lawyer whispered frantically. This isn't good. David turned to Monica, squeezing her hand. We're not done yet. Outside the courthouse, news crews surrounded them. Reporters shouted questions. Mr. Harper, are you suing the city? Mrs. Harper, how do you feel after the day's hearing? Monica took a deep breath. I feel seen. Not because of my husband's money, but because for once, someone cared enough to fight back. David placed his arm around her. This is about justice. For my wife, for our community, for every family who's been silenced. As they spoke, Marcus handed David a phone quietly. Sir, you want to see this? On the screen, breaking news. Headline: Police Captain Ronald Avery resigns amid corruption scandal. Sources claim FBI involvement. David smirked. Perfect timing. But in a dimly lit office across town, Captain Avery slammed his desk in rage. Harper's digging too deep, he growled. Tell our friends downtown it's time to shut him up. That night, David received a text from an unknown number. You think you're untouchable? Watch your back. Money won't protect you. Marcus intercepted it immediately. It's a burner phone, sir. We'll trace it. But before they could react, Monica's car alarm went off outside. David rushed to the window. The glass was smashed, and on the hood was a spray-painted message. Stay in your lane. Monica gasped. Oh my God! David clenched his fists. They want war, he said coldly. They'll get it. He made one phone call. Activate mirror protocol 2. Full exposure. All evidence is sent to every major news outlet and the FBI Cyber Division. Within 48 hours, chaos erupted. FBI agents raided the Atlanta Police Department. Captain Avery was arrested for bribery, evidence tampering, and obstruction of justice. 6 other officers were suspended, and at the center of every headline was the same image. David Harper and his wife standing hand in hand outside the courthouse. Public pressure grew so intense that the mayor held a press conference, apologizing to the Harper family and promising full reform. But David wasn't smiling. Something still didn't sit right. He met with Marcus privately. This went too cleanly, he said. Avery wasn't at the top. Someone else ordered this cover-up. Marcus nodded. We found something on the captain's encrypted drive. A payment log signed by initials we don't recognize. David leaned forward. Whose initials? Marcus hesitated. DS. David froze. That's impossible, he whispered. The next morning, David received an invitation to a private meeting at City Hall with the police commissioner, Darren Steele. When David arrived, the commissioner greeted him warmly. Mr. Harper, what you did cleaning out corruption, it's admirable, but you're playing a dangerous game. David narrowed his eyes. Dangerous how? Steele poured himself coffee, calm as ever. You exposed Avery, yes, but he was just one piece. There's a network here you don't understand. Walk away while you still can. David leaned in. Or what? Steele's smile disappeared. Or the next headline will be about your family. Silence. David stood slowly. You just made a mistake, he said quietly. Because now, I know exactly where to start looking. As he walked out, Steele picked up his phone. It's done. Phase 2. Make it look like an accident. That night, Monica tucked Caleb into bed. The city lights shimmered outside their mansion's windows. David stood by the balcony, deep in thought, when Marcus rushed in, face pale. Sir, he said, out of breath, we've been hacked. What do you mean hacked? Your servers, the company network. Someone breached our systems. All files from Project Mirror are gone. David's eyes widened. Gone. Marcus nodded. And sir, it gets worse. He handed him a tablet. On the screen was a live security feed of their mansion gate. Wide open and a black SUV pulling in. The same kind of SUV that followed Daniel's apartment weeks ago. David's pulse quickened. Get Monica and Caleb to the panic room. Now! As Marcus rushed to grab them, David turned toward the window headlights shining into his eyes. Then the power went out. Outside, a shadowy figure stepped out of the SUV wearing a police badge on his belt and holding a silenced pistol. The camera zooms in on his hand. The badge glints under the moonlight. Badge name, Steele. David Harper stands by his mansion window. When the power suddenly cuts out, Marcus rushes in yelling, "Sir, we've been hacked. The files from Project Mirror are gone." Before David can respond, the house security alarm blares, and an SUV has broken to the front gate. David grabs Monica and Caleb. Go. Panic room now. Marcus pulls out his gun, scanning the hallways. Stay behind me. The family rushes downstairs, the sound of heavy boots on gravel outside. The door bursts open and two masked men storm inside. One carries a silencer. The other speaks into a radio. Target confirmed. Orders from Steele. No survivors. David's heart pounds. The commissioner sent them. Marcus fires a warning shot. Move. They sprint down the hall, sliding through the hidden door into the reinforced panic room. Inside, Monica clutches Caleb tightly, trembling. David slams the metal lock. They want to erase everything we found. Outside, silence. Then the faint sound of someone walking slowly down the hall. Footsteps. Closer. Closer. A gloved hand pounds on the panic room door. Then a calm, familiar voice. "Mr. Harper, open up. Let's talk." David freezes. It's Commissioner Steele. "Come out, and I'll make this all go away," Steele says smoothly. "You expose my department, but we can strike a deal. Walk away quietly, and I'll let your family live." David's voice is cold. "You attacked my home. You threatened my wife. You think I'll make a deal with the devil." A pause. Then Steele's tone darkens. "You're not the first to try exposing me. You're just the first with money." Gunshots ring out, and Marcus returns fire from behind the door frame. The attackers retreat. David whispers, "They'll be back. We have to move before dawn." By morning, the mansion is in ruins. Police cars surround the area, but David knows better some of them work for Steele. He loads Monica and Caleb into an armored SUV under Marcus's command. Monica grips his hand. "Where are we going?" "Somewhere no one can find us," he says. They drive out of the city, across back roads and forests, until they reach a remote, private airstrip. Waiting there for a jet, Marcus turns. "Sir, we can take you to a safe house in D.C. The FBI's clean branch is waiting." David nods. "And the data? We've got fragments of the original files. Enough to prove Steele's been laundering money through shell contracts tied to federal grants." David exhales. "That's our lifeline." But as the plane's engines start, David's phone buzzes a video message. He opens it. On screen, Commissioner Steele, sitting in his office, smiling. "You can run, Mr. Harper. But remember your wife's hospital? Your company? I own people everywhere. You think you're safe? Think again." Then the video cuts were replaced with live footage of a hospital hallway. Nurses rushing. Sirens blaring. Monica gasps. "That's my hospital." David stares at the screen and a red alert message flashes. Bomb threat evacuation. In progress, Grady Memorial. Monica's knees buckle. "My co-workers, my patients." David clenches his jaw. He's targeting everything we love. 2 days later, the family hides in a secure FBI facility in D.C. Agent Laura Kim, a sharp, no-nonsense investigator, briefs them. Commissioner Steele isn't just corrupt, he's connected. We believe he's tied to a private intelligence group called Blackridge, responsible for smuggling weapons under government contracts. David frowns. "And the police department?" "It's been their cover for years," Laura explains. "They've been cleaning money through fake community programs and training budgets." Monica shakes her head. "All those donations, all those public safety grants, was it all a lie?" Laura nods grimly. "Every penny." Then she slides a file across the table. "We have a witness willing to testify. A former officer who worked under Steele. But he'll only talk to you, David. David opens a file. Inside a photo, Officer Rick Daniels. David's eyes narrow. You're telling me he's a witness? Agent Kim nods. He's in protective custody. Claims Steele blackmailed him and destroyed his life. He wants revenge too. Marcus scoffs. That man harassed your wife. You can't trust him. But David sighs. If he can bring Steele down, we have to hear him out. Rick Daniels sits in cuffs, head low. When David walks in, their eyes meet tension thick as smoke. Rick speaks first. Never thought I'd be sitting across from you, Harper. Guess we both got burned by the same man. David's tone is sharp. You humiliated my wife. You terrified my son. Give me one reason not to walk out right now. Rick looks up, guilt his eyes. Because I can prove Steele ordered everything. The cover-ups, the erase files, the hit on your house. David studies him carefully. Why should I believe you? Rick leans forward. Because I recorded him. He made me do things like falsify reports, delete evidence. I kept copies. Hidden. If you help me get them, I'll testify. Silence. David finally nods. You get me those recordings and you get your redemption. That night, David, Marcus, and Daniels plan a covert mission to recover the evidence from Steele's private data vault hidden inside Atlanta City Hall. Disguised as maintenance workers, they enter through the service tunnels. Marcus whispers, "We got 5 minutes before the security rotation." Daniels unlocks the door. Inside a sleek glass office with a locked digital safe. He types a code. I memorized this from my days in the precinct. The safe clicks open. Inside a stack of flash drives labeled with dates and initials. DSAVRD. Marcus grins. We got him. But just as David grabs the drives, a red laser flashes across the room. An alarm blares. Move! Marcus shouts. They sprint through the corridor as guards flood the hallway. Bullets ricochet off the walls. David dives behind a pillar, clutching the drives. We're not dying for this data. Daniels covers them with suppressive fire. Go! I'll hold them off. Marcus yells, No man left behind. Daniels looks back, eyes filled with regret. Tell your wife I'm sorry. He turns and charges into the smoke, firing. David and Marcus escape through a side exit, the building shaking behind them. Back at the safe house, David uploads and recovers files. As the data loads, his expression hardens. Video logs appear Steele in meetings with city officials, exchanging envelopes of cash. Audio files with Daniel's voice, following Steele's racist and criminal orders. And then one final file titled H8. Marcus clicks play. A familiar voice fills the room, not Steele's. It's Harper's own business partner. Commissioner Steele, the Harper investigation is getting out of hand. We need to neutralize him before he exposes our federal contracts. You know what to do. David's blood runs cold. Monica whispers, No, that can't be. Marcus stares. Sir, that's your partner Henry Hale, the man who helped you build Harper Global. David clenches his fists. He sold me out. The next morning, David confronts Hale at his office. Why? David demands. You knew Steele was corrupt. You knew he attacked my family. Hale's face is calm too. David, he says softly, you were getting too loud. Steele's operation funds half our government contracts. Without them, everything collapses the city. The firms, the politicians. You were going to destroy it all. David steps closer. You let them terrorize my wife. Hale sighs. Collateral damage. David's eyes darken. Then you've made your last deal. He slams a flash drive onto the desk. This contains everything, and it's already backed up. The world will know who you really are. Hale smiles coldly. If you go public, you'll die before sunset. David turns and walks out. Then I guess I'd better hurry. Hours later, David holds a press conference streamed live worldwide. Reporters gather as he takes the podium. Monica stands beside him, calm and proud. David begins. 2 months ago, my wife was humiliated by a police officer. What we discovered since then goes far beyond one man. It's a web of corruption from City Hall to to corporate boardrooms. He holds up the drive, and here's the proof. The screens behind him light up showing Steele, Avery, and even Henry Hale exchanging money and discussing black ops. Gasps fill the room, but suddenly the lights flicker. The screens cut to black. Then a new feed appears on Steele's face. Nice try, Mr. Harper, but this is my city. Behind Steele, Henry Hale. Standing calmly beside him, David's face falls. No. Steele smirks. You thought you could expose me? You just gave me every reason to erase you for good. The feed cuts. Outside the conference hall, sirens wail. Marcus bursts in. Sir, they're surrounding the building. David grabs Monica's hand. Get Caleb. We're leaving now. They race through the back exit as black SUVs close in. Gunshots echo. Glass shatters. Marcus covers them as they escape through an underground parking ramp. David yells, "Head to the river!" They dive into a getaway car speeding into the night as helicopters circle overhead. Monica cries, "Where do we go now?" David's voice is steady. "Somewhere they can't reach us." But I'm not done. Not until Steele and Hale fall. Marcus glances at the rearview mirror. Sir, they're gaining. Suddenly, a blinding explosion rocks the bridge ahead of them. Their car swerves. The screen fades to black. Then faint radio chatter. Targets down. Confirmed hit. A faint heartbeat returns. Then David's muffled voice. "Monica, stay with me." To be continued. David Harper tried to expose the truth, but the truth fought back. The commissioner's network runs deeper than anyone imagined. And now, the billionaire's family might pay the ultimate price. What really happened on that bridge? And who's still alive? Part 2, The Last Witness, coming soon. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notification. Thanks for watching.